So what shall I do? What shall I do as an ordinary man? I realized technological knowledge and all that, but the knowledge which I've accumulated, which is divisive, which is destructive, which is rather petty, and yet I hold on to that. And I realize I must let it go, but I can't. What shall I do? I think this is the average person's problem. A problem which arises when we're a little bit serious about all this. Is it the lack of energy?
Not primarily. You see, the energy is being dissipated by
Dissipated,
this process.
I understand that. Having dissipated a great deal of energy, I haven't got the energy to
But that could come back quickly.
grapple with this.
No, that could come back quickly if we could get out of this. You see, the energy is constantly being dissipated, and the person may be a little worn down, but he could recover if this would stop. I don't think it's the main point.
No, that's not the main point.
Yeah.
So what shall I do as a human being, realizing that I have this knowledge is naturally, inevitably forming a groove in which I live. My next question is, how am I to break it down?
Well, I'm not sure that it's clear, say, that in general, that for people that this knowledge is doing all this, and also that the knowledge is knowledge. You see, it may seem to be some being, the self, the me. There's a certain, this knowledge is experienced as some entity. That this knowledge creates the me.
Yes.
And
yes.
the me is now experienced as an entity, which is not knowledge, but some real being, right?
Are you saying this being is different from knowledge?
It appears to be. It makes itself, it feigns difference, you see.
But is it?
It isn't, but it has a very powerful ability to...
But that has been my condition.
That's true. Now the question is, how do we get through that to break down
that is the real point, you see.
Because it creates an imitation or a pretension of a state of being, right?
See, look, I mean, there are 700 million Catholics, thousands of millions and millions of Chinese, all for this is their central movement. And it seems so utterly hopeless. And realize that the hopelessness, I sit back and say I can't do anything. But if I apply my mind to it, then the question arises, is it possible to function without psychological knowledge in this world? I'm rather concerned about it because I think wherever one goes, so it's California or here or anywhere else, it is this central issue that is must be resolved.
That's right. Now, but you see, if somebody, you may discuss this or tell this to somebody, and they may say it looks reasonable, perhaps, but you see, when let's say that his status is threatened, which we have to say that's psychological knowledge. You see, it doesn't seem to him that it's knowledge that's threatened, but something more, right? Now, he does not see that his knowledge of his status is behind the trouble. That knowledge seems to be, at first sight, something passive, you see, something which you know, which you could use if you wanted to, and which you could fail to use if you don't want to, just put it aside, you see, which is the way it should be.
I understand all that.
But
sir.
then when the moment comes,
Back again.
yeah, the knowledge no longer appears to be knowledge. Right? You see, how would you, if you were to talk to some politician or,
Oh,
well, for example, I think somebody once wanted you to talk to Mao Zedong, you know,
oh no,
you would probably get nowhere, right?
no way. At least, the politicians and the people in power wouldn't even listen to you. The religious people won't listen to you, so-called religious people. This is only the people who are discontented, who are frustrated, who feel they have lost everything. Perhaps to those will listen, but they won't listen so that it is a real burning thing. How does one go about it? Make one, say for instance, I've left Catholicism, Protestant, all this nonsense. I'm also, though I have a career, I know it's necessary to have knowledge there, but I've come to a point as a human being living in this world that I see how important it is not to be caught in the process of knowledge, psychological knowledge, and yet I can't let it go. It's always dodging me. I'm playing tricks with it. It's like a hide and seek.